Hey guys, what's going on? So this is a video that I've been like thinking about for a really long time, and I wanted to make like some kind of video for it. And I'm probably gonna post this on my YouTube channel, honestly. Um, and it's about like the state of movies for me and how movies became content and not like they don't feel how they used to feel to me. And this is just my own personal experience, so I'm not trying to generalize this to everybody. But movies to me nowadays feel like content. And I feel like that all stems from the idea that when I was a kid, the ability to watch a movie was very limited. Like it either had to be on TV, or you had to see it in theaters, or you had to buy the tape or the DVD or whatever, and that was the only way that you could see the movie. At which point, I became very much a physical media person. Like just a million. This is like This is my collection of things that are like series of things. And I look at this collection and I'm just like I don't understand why I have this anymore because of like the streaming era. I'm not going to be able to show you everything, but then so all of those are like series of things. So like in this case, this is like the M. Night Shyamalan series. And then everything in here are individual movies that have no like sequels. They're just like these really good like one-off movies. And I'm a very big guy because and like the whole reason for doing that, like when I was a kid or I don't know, teenager growing up and I had this idea, I was like, whenever I go to other people's houses, this was obviously before the streaming age. Whenever I go to other people's houses, the only way to like watch movies at other people's houses was if they had a copy of that movie, or else you were just watching TV. There was no streaming. And now with streaming and the access to everything, and another reason why I love physical media is because, as I say, access to everything, you don't really have access to everything. You could have every streaming service available, and you still don't have access to every movie ever. There are some movies that just don't exist anywhere. Like, you just have to own it. You have to own it, or you have to buy it, or it has to exist, right? You have to have a physical copy of it. And I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and it was like there was this movie, or like all the Disney Plus shows, or no, that's a bad example. There's a show that I used to watch, and it was, hang on. There was a show that I used to watch called Motherland, and it was a Hulu show, and it had like 4 seasons, and I didn't finish the 4th season as it was out because I just kind of fell off of it, and then they completely deleted it from the platform, and now it just doesn't exist. Like, you can probably watch it on like pirated websites, but it no longer exists on Hulu. You couldn't have owned a physical copy of it because it wasn't something that was sold, and now it just doesn't exist. And there's a part of me that like laments the idea that I'll go back to my original thought. My original thought was that whenever I would go to other people's houses, the only way you could watch a movie is if they owned it on DVD or tape or something. So then you could be like, oh, I want to watch that movie. Because then or else you just had to watch TV, just regular TV, and see what was on. And that's what you watched. I wanted to be that like really cool person with like this extensive DVD collection of like a bunch of my favorite movies, so that like when you came over to like my house and you wanted to watch something, I could be like, look at this. Isn't this crazy? I have like everything. I have like all of these really cool movies that we could watch. And now with the streaming age and with everything being like available on streaming, because of the amount of content, now it's less special. It feels less special. And I don't know if anybody else feels like this. I mean, I was talking to a coworker and I was like, isn't it crazy that, like at some point we used to remember character names? Like when you watch Jurassic Park, that's Alan Grant. That's Ellie Sattler, right? And now when I watch like a movie like Hobbs and Shaw, I don't even know them. I don't like if I ever talk about the movie Hobbs and Shaw, I'm just like, oh yeah, Dwayne like The Rock and Jason Statham. Like it's not the character anymore. Like you're not like you don't watch to make another Fast and the Furious. You don't watch a Fast and the Furious movie. That's just Vin Diesel. That's not Dominic Toretto. Like when you watch movies and if I had to like describe a movie, it's not like the character name, it's the actor name. And like that's a microcosm of what I'm like trying to talk about. It's just like movies had, when I was little, it had like lasting impact. Like you used to watch the same movies over and over and over because there was no access to every movie. And now with access to every movie, you can watch any movie at any time. And like everything doesn't become it's there's such a wealth of stuff that now instead of being forced to only watch one movie that you own, you can now watch everything. Instead of having one movie become your favorite movie that you can quote and you can sing back. And I trust that some people still do this. I trust that kids still do this. I trust that there are some people who just love one thing and then just harp on that one thing. But with the access to every movie, like when you go on Netflix and you're clicking through and you're clicking through and you're clicking through to find something new, something interesting. Like with The Mandalorian and Grogu just coming out, like I said that movie is going to do numbers on Disney Plus. When that movie drops on Disney Plus, everybody's going to watch it. Nobody will have gone out to see it in theaters because it's eventually going to be on Disney Plus. It's not a great movie. But as soon as it drops on Disney Plus, it's going to be a really cool thing for the 2-hour length of time, and then you're just going to forget about it because it's not a great movie. But it's going to be like really exciting for that 2 hours. And that's what I feel like movies have become. Movies have become like these 2-hour events where it's really cool and then you never talk about it again. We're currently watching Close Encounters of the Third Kind in preparation for Disclosure Day, because we're going to watch Disclosure Day later today. And I'm never going to watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind again. Like, that was a movie that was probably formative for a lot of people growing up. In the same way that, like, Lion King and Beauty and the Beast were formative for me growing up. I used to watch those movies over and over and over. I'm watching Close Encounters, and I'm like, this movie must have been really cool to watch in 1977 when it was new. When there was no access to anything. In the movie, they're like, oh, hey, Dad, can we stay up and watch the 10 Commandments? And I thought it was just like a funny thing that they have to reference another movie that's even older than 1977 when this movie came out. They have to reference another movie that they're really excited about seeing. And it just made me think again to like how movies are just kind of content now. And I feel like this about music as well. There was a point in my life when I used to watch or when I used to listen to like the same CD over and over and over, and I would memorize every song and everything about my favorite artist. And now, and you know, like I used to, you know, like make mix CDs, and I used to like really harp on like the same songs, and I used to like, you know, get all of the nuances. And now I can't even be bothered to listen to a Taylor Swift album a second time. Like with the amount of music out there that you have access to all the time. There was a point where music, like movies, was very like you had to buy it. You had to catch it on the radio. You had to know what song it was. You had to buy the single CD because you didn't want to buy the $13, you know, like full album, right? You just wanted the one. You wanted the one song that was on the radio, so you bought the single CD. I had a bunch of single CDs at some point, and like now you have access to every song ever at the, you know, on your phone, on YouTube. What's the point of even buying a CD anymore? Like, I know that people buy CDs. We have an entire Taylor Swift wall that I bought of CDs, but that's more for like display. Hang on. I mean, I guess since I'm doing house tour, I might as well showcase like Taylor Swift wall. I thought that this was really cool. I found like a person that did this. And so we bought like all of the CD, or I bought all the CDs, and then like Reputation and Taylor Swift, we're still waiting on them. I'm one of those people that I'm still waiting on it. But like, so like with access to just everything, everywhere, all at once. Oh no, my pop wall. With access to everything at all times, it just like again for me, it feels like everything is just content. Everything is just like, what is the next thing? What is the next thing? What is the next thing? And I do I lament the time when you didn't have everything, when you didn't have access to everything, when it wasn't just easy to do everything, right? Like, I think like when you're a kid, your parents take you to like your favorite restaurant, right? And it's like you think about like going to that restaurant, like for weeks, right? And then you get to go to that restaurant, you get to eat your favorite thing that you always get there. You become an adult, you can do anything, anytime. You could go to your that favorite restaurant every day for a month, right? You can do that as an adult. You have access to that. And in some way, it makes that experience less special. You could wait, like a month. You could choose to do that once per month. I could choose to just watch less movies. I could choose to just not watch movies and just watch the same movie over and over and continue that tradition of making movies like feel special. And there are movies that feel special to me. I love Wicked. I love, like Mitchell's versus Machines. But I feel like they're, like just to like, if you had a kid, for example, right now, right? And they grew up and they wanted to watch movies. And, like you put them on Disney Plus and you're like, you need to watch these movies. You need to watch Lion King and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast. And these movies are so cool. And like, Princess and the Frog and, Little Mermaid. And like, it feels like they would, if my child then started saying, oh, okay, cool, what's next? And they only watched one of those movies once, obviously didn't remember any of the lyrics to I Can't Wait to Be King, didn't memorize all the lyrics to like A Whole New World, just saw that moment one time and then just moved on with their life and just, like, who cares, right? Because, Elio is out and, like Gato, the new Pixar movie is going to come out right after the new Pixar movie, Toy Story 5, right? There's always something else. I feel like that's just so sad. And I recognize that I do this, that I like am just looking for the next thing, but I lament the feeling of like when everything was special, when you memorized things, when you like watched a movie over and over and you found different things to like about it. And now like you watch a movie and before you even watch the movie, you can see like reviews of a movie and have a preconceived notion about how you should probably feel about that movie. When Batman and Robin came out, I loved that movie. I remember specifically walking out of that movie and being like, I love this movie. It's so fun. It's so funny. Like, it's so, like, I love all the characters. Like, Mr. Freeze has a freeze gun. How cool is that? Like, he's surfing on dinosaurs. I love that. But had I grown in this world of everybody hates that movie, it has like a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes, 18% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, how would I feel about that movie? I remember coming out of Matrix Reloaded, and to this day, Matrix Reloaded is still my favorite of the Matrix movies. How would I feel today if that movie had come out and I knew how all critics like hate that movie and it's not as good as the first one and it sucks and the dialogue is terrible and everybody's shitting on something, right? Then it makes you feel like, should I not like this movie? I don't know. Something to think about.